Welcome to the Jay Kim Show. This is your host, Jay Kim. I am an investor, author, and fitness entrepreneur, and for the first time in Asia, I sit down with the world's most brilliant minds in business, investing, and entrepreneurship. You'll learn all the secrets, strategies, and formulas to becoming a successful entrepreneur directly from the masters. If this is your first time listening, thank you for stopping by. This podcast is produced every week with the goal of providing actionable insight to you, the listener, with every single episode. And now, on to the show. We are finally here. It is January 16th, the start of the 2017 StartmeupHK Festival, and it's also the launch date of my podcast, The Jay Kim Show. So thank you for joining us today. We are going to sit down with Charles Ng, who is the Associate Director General of Investment Promotion at InvestHK, and Jayne Chen, the head of StartmeUp Hong Kong. So InvestHK is part of the Hong Kong government. It was established in July 2000 as an initiative to attract foreign direct investment and support overseas businesses set up shop here in Hong Kong. Now, in 2013, Charles decided to launch Start Me Up Hong Kong, which is a subset of InvestHK. Ms. Jayne Chen runs that division. And Start Me Up Hong Kong is an initiative to promote the Hong Kong startup ecosystem. So they are the key stakeholders behind this Start Me Up Hong Kong 2017 festival. We get to sit down with both of them today in a little roundtable discussion. They're going to explain all the events that are going to happen in this exciting week and what you have to look forward to. So let's jump right in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the directors of InvestHK and Start Me Up Hong Kong. So this is a very exciting week we have coming up. It's the 2017 Start Me Up Hong Kong Festival, probably one of the top two largest conference startup type festivals in Hong Kong. And we are sitting here with the two key people that are driving this conference. So we're very fortunate to have them here with us. They've been working very hard this year to put on an extremely action-packed and fun-filled week. And so I'm sitting here with Charles Ng, who's the Acting Director General of Investment Promotion, and Jayne Chen, who's the head of Start Me Up Hong Kong. So perhaps Charles and Jayne, perhaps you guys can just give us a little introduction of yourselves and maybe talk about what InvestHK's mission is, and specifically Start Me Up Hong Kong. I know it was launched recently, maybe 3 or 4 years ago only. So how that differentiates from InvestHK and just give the audience a little bit of flavor there.
Sure. Thank you very much, Jay. Thanks for the opportunity. Invest Hong Kong is a government department in charge of inward foreign direct investment. What we do is we offer a one-stop service to help facilitate companies who are from overseas or mainland China. They are interested in setting up a presence or growing a presence here. And they would come to Hong Kong. We have a network of 30 offices around the world where we help these companies, large corporates or SMEs and also startups to come to Hong Kong and to set up a base here. And we would facilitate and offer a one-stop service from facilitation with work visas to finding a school for their expatriate kids, as well as opening a bank account, for example. We have sector specialists here who are from 9 different sectors, helping basically every sector that you can think of, because Hong Kong is a very diversified economy. And this is what we do in a nutshell to help companies set up and expand here in Hong Kong.
So overseas investment businesses that want to set up shop in Hong Kong, That's right. Being a very favorable location to set up a new business or an affiliate of an existing business. I think the surprising thing is that even myself didn't know that there was 30 branches globally of InvestHK. I had no idea before you told me a while back. So, okay, and Start Me Up HK, Jayne?
Yes, thank you so much for asking us to come on this podcast. So Start Me Up Hong Kong is Invest Hong Kong's startup initiative. So in terms of offering the kind of services that the rest of the sector teams provide, like facilitation of work visas, helping them to advise them on getting their company registered and things like that. Our team also provides very specific startup related to advice. So for example, if you are a biotech startup and you are doing some serious R&D work, you want to relocate to Hong Kong, then we could potentially signpost you to the relevant funding that is available from the government side. The startup landscape is changing incredibly fast in Hong Kong. We've seen phenomenal growth, and actually it's a full-time job just to keep on top of everything that is happening. So having the team here to actually signpost you to the correct workspace, your co-work space, if you are in the investment side, for example, or other types of industries and sectors, we can provide the on-the-ground kind of advice on that. The other hat that we also wear is to help to build the Hong Kong startup ecosystem. We are one of the players. There's some fantastic people in the community who are already doing some things, whether they're academics, whether they are the corporates with their innovation labs or accelerators, incubators, investors. We come in from obviously from the government angle, but also we try to provide value by connecting all these different groups of people together. So it's actually easier for someone new coming into Hong Kong to actually tap into this network easily.
So as we start the year, we wanted to kick off the year with a lot of excitement. The reason why we're doing it in January is really to kick off the year and really create a lot of buzz and momentum in the ecosystem. We've seen an amazing growth in the ecosystem from 4 years ago, where there were 3 co-working spaces, and now we have over 50 co-working space innovation labs, accelerator programs, incubation programs in the city. And they are actually quite varied in terms of verticals. We've seen from fintech to smart city to data analytics to the retail technology and others. We've seen a lot of these growth coming up, and for example in health tech we've seen quite a big momentum there as well, and Internet of Things. And the reason why we're doing this festival, we have a number of verticals that we're focusing on, where we believe Hong Kong has a very unique advantage and strength. So, for example, for this upcoming festival, we're going to have a number of verticals we're focusing on, namely retail technology. The other is the fashion tech, as well as smart city, connected city, and as well as Internet of Things, fintech, and health tech. And perhaps, Jayne, you could explain a little bit more about the some of the details of the festival.
Sure. So we've got a whole week of different activities planned, and as Charles has just mentioned, the reason why we chose those kind of areas is that we really looked at what was happening on the ground. We were seeing what kind of startups were coming up, and they're at the end of the day are the best kind of decision makers and giving us the best views about what's happening. Because if you're setting up a health tech company here in Hong Kong, there's got to be reasons, strategic business reasons for you setting something up. So we basically did observation on the ground. We also did a startup survey, and we also looked at how Hong Kong's physical as well as the business environment compares with other startup hubs. And we did a bit of soul searching. What would make us unique and what are the competitive advantages for us? Hong Kong is not for everyone, and we don't try to be everything for every man, but for certain industries and sectors, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. So, Charles mentioned those key sectors, and for us, each one of them has some great reasons why startups and that related community in those industries would want to set up in Hong Kong. So we've got all these different kind of events going on. We've got the fashion tech, which is a very natural thing for Hong Kong. We've had a long history of design, trading and things. So for fashion tech, to incorporate that fashion know-how with the kind of technologies that's being done, it seemed to be a very, very natural thing for us to move into. And the same with retail tech. Hong Kong historically has been known as like a shopper's paradise. How valid and relevant that is in this age of globalization. We were definitely looking at our retail industries and thinking, okay, the landscape is changing. How can we address that? How can we adapt to that and still make ourselves relevant going forward? And that's where the retail tech is coming in. We've got a lot of retailers here in Hong Kong who are searching for the next move, next step to actually grow their businesses. And technology, like in every other industry, is having a massive impact. And we want to showcase some of these fantastic things that are being done. But not only that, you've got a very large group of people here in Hong Kong, retail groups, who are ready and willing and waiting to basically adopt some of these technologies. And we think that because of that, it makes sense for Hong Kong to actually move into that. Smart city, again, for us, we've got several major infrastructure projects going on here, and it doesn't come very often where you've got a very developed market embarking on such massive infrastructure projects like the new Central Business District 2 that we're going to be creating, like the third runway and the new Sky City that's going to be built at the Hong Kong International Airport. All these kind of massive infrastructure projects have been prioritized to focus on smart city technologies. So for us, with these kind of opportunities, again, we wanted to attract the best and the brightest from all over the world to basically showcase what's going on and potentially find customers here in Hong Kong.
In terms of the smart city, there's also the second Central Business District, which is in the making. And again, it's what we are positioning in Hong Kong is that come to Hong Kong and take a look at these big projects where there's a lot of demand, and a lot of gaps to be filled, and where startups can use Hong Kong as a living lab, a showcase, and a global launch pad. In the rest of the two verticals that we're going to be focusing on in terms of would be fintech. And fintech is obviously a very natural choice for Hong Kong. As much as we are one of the top 3 global financial center, we believe that Hong Kong has all the ingredients and the demand and the needs to becoming one of the top 3 global fintech hub. And in regards to the needs, we're looking at a number of areas, for example, cybersecurity, blockchain technology, regulatory technology, insurtech, and so on. And all of these will be discussed and will be showcased in Hong Kong. There's a global competition, of course. The finalists from this global competition, the FinTech Finals 2017, will be pitching to investors during the 2 days of the FinTech Finals here during the festival. Last but not least, there is also the Health Tech Day, where we will be featuring a number of areas where using digital health tech, digital connected to health tech would be featured. And Hong Kong also is going through very exciting times where we see a lot bigger focus on medical device, on digital health, as well as also aging technologies. We have some exciting things happening in Hong Kong where, because of the fact that we're next to Shenzhen, which is the hardware capital of the world, we are in a very good position with all the ingredients here to really help startups at different stages to develop and grow their business.
Yeah, I mean, so this is incredible because basically all the verticals that you've spoken of basically didn't exist 5 years ago. I mean, Charles, I met you probably around 5 years ago. I think over the 5 years, we've sat in this very room multiple times talking about how to proliferate and grow the startup ecosystem here in Hong Kong. And, to be honest, the first few years, nothing happened and I was quite discouraged. But now looking back, we've come a long way. And obviously, many thanks to you guys and what you guys do here. The two of them have taken it like a personal crusade to help grow the ecosystem. And, like I said, a lot of these things didn't exist. Fashion tech. I've never even heard of fashion tech. And I think about fashion tech being, like wearables and Fitbit and stuff like that. But, it goes a lot deeper than that. And I spoke with Marina. We'll hear from Marina, later in another podcast today, released the same day. And she goes into detail about what exactly fashion tech is and says, there's a lot more to it than just wearables. And she's also guaranteed that there will be confirmed that there will be a catwalk. So that's a very exciting, for a tech startup type conference. This is something rare. So if you guys haven't gotten your tickets, then go right now and grab your tickets for the catwalk. Now, Start Me Up Hong Kong, obviously there is a signature event. I believe it's the second night. And so maybe you guys can tell us a little bit about some of the keynote speakers that you have coming. It's a high-profile event. There's going to be a lot of people flying in from overseas. I think it's something like over 5,000 attendees to the conference every year, and another 2,000 in the sort of ancillary type events around the city. So what do we have to look forward to on the Tuesday for the festival event?
Gosh, so can I just step back a little bit, just
sure.
to talk a little bit about the format that's changed. So we started this, actually Charles, it was Charles at the time, 4 years ago, saw all the startup things happening, and we decided that, he decided that one way of actually showcasing what a fantastic place Hong Kong is as a potential startup hub was to organize a startup competition. So we basically went around the world, we did road shows, we promoted the competition, we managed to get a whole bunch of finalists to Hong Kong, and we culminated by hosting what we call the Start Me Up Hong Kong Venture Forum, where we showcase these finalists. I think there was a range from about 10 to about 12 companies per year to actually come to Hong Kong and pitch with the potential to actually win a number of like really good prizes. But last year, as in actually I should say this year, actually no, we're in 2017, aren't we?
That's right.
I can finally say last year. So last year we decided to change the format. Instead of having a competition, we just thought we would hold a fantastic, inspirational kind of type of event under the Start Me Up Venture Forum umbrella. But we also increased the scope of the actual festival itself. So we actually asked different kind of partners to create all these fantastic events in the key sectors that we mentioned earlier. So in January 2016 was when we had our first one, and we were incredibly lucky for our Venture Forum to actually have Elon Musk as our keynote speaker, and that really helped to show the world that we were very serious about building Hong Kong as a startup hub. Now, following on from that, this year,
I don't know how you guys pulled that off, by the way. I think everyone's still scratching their heads on that one.
We were just incredibly fortunate, and the guy was a complete inspiration. Actually,
Yeah,
it was actually.
very
Can I just
well
say, it was actually a lot of hard work on our sector team side. Actually, they had a great relationship with Tesla ever since we helped them set up here in Hong Kong. Our sector teams did a lot of hard work to actually work with their teams to enable this to happen. So it wasn't something that we decided that, wouldn't it be fantastic, and it just happened. It was a culmination of several years of really good relationships with Tesla that enabled that to happen. So this year, how do you follow up on someone like Elon Musk? We decided that we wanted to actually entertain the heck out of people. Still very much with a tech focus and very much an inspirational kind of focus, but we were going completely the different way of actually entertaining people. So as our keynotes this year, we actually have Marco Tempest, who's our final keynote, and he is like a tech illusionist. If you don't know him, you should definitely search his things up, because the guy is incredible.
Actually, I did that myself. I went on YouTube.
Oh, you did? I mean, it's so cool, isn't it? It really is quite
Very
amazing.
cool.
It's just, he is actually an AI expert as well, robotics
really?
expert.
Really? Wow.
But he leverages tech to actually create entertainment in the hope of educating people about these more abstract kind of concepts, which I think is a great tie-in for us. We've also got Brett King as one of our top line speakers. Brett King, again, incredible thought leader, and he's what's called a futurist. He's been predicting trends of what's going to come up, what the millennials want, what we're going to see down the road in 5, 10, 20 years time. It would be very interesting to see whether a lot of his views are going to come to pass. He has put money where his mouth is, and he's actually created a fintech company, a digital bank that is, is worth over 100 million US now. So it really is. He does practice what he preaches, and we're really looking forward to that. But it's not just like the overseas kind of speakers. We also wanted to highlight some local heroes as well. So we've got Professor Dennis Lowe from CUHK, and actually this guy is a marvel, and so few people know of who he is. He basically developed his did research and developed this technology to allow for non-invasive ways of testing fetal DNA. So, for example, if you're a woman or, you're a man with your wife, you've had children and things, one of the ways you used to get tested for Down syndrome was basically through amniocentesis, which when you're a woman, usually around about 5 months pregnant, is actually quite a dangerous thing. It's not risk-free. What Professor Lowe has found certain proteins within the mother's DNA, her blood plasma, that you can actually search for the fetal diseases. And basically all you have to do is either take the saliva from the mother or a little bit of blood, and you can test for all these things without having to inject these really long needles into the stomach of a pregnant mother. The guy it's amazing, and his technology is being leveraged and patented and used by a number of very, very large organizations. And I just don't think in Hong Kong we're very good at just shouting from the rooftops when we've got people that are compelling like that. So hopefully through this event, we'll showcase some of these fantastic thought leaders and visionaries in their respective fields.
Yeah, we are extremely excited about what's going on and also in the ecosystem. And I think a great reason for the success of the momentum that we're seeing is really thanks to the passion and the people who are in Hong Kong. And we see from people from all over different parts of the world that are here, that are based here. They're really what we call them champions of the ecosystem. But we're also seeing a lot of momentum coming out from the locals who are increasingly getting excited about getting into the entrepreneurship innovation platform. And we're extremely excited about the upcoming future for Hong Kong. It was announced on Tuesday that the Chief Executive of Hong Kong government and the Mayor of Shenzhen just signed an agreement to really create this amazing hub. This is what we call a innovation and technology hub, a tech park between Shenzhen and Hong Kong. It's an 85 hectares of land that is going to be put forward to creating this very unique proposition. And I say unique because of the fact that when you look at the world, there's very few places where you can bring ideation to commercialization in a very big sense, where you can do prototypes anywhere in the world. You can do 1 or 2 or 5 prototypes in universities and so on. But if you want to scale that and you want to make small amount of samples to validate the samples and to bring the samples to fruition, and then once you get approval and that you fine tune the samples so that you have the right prototype and you want to launch the product 200,000 or 300,000 pieces and get the funding and so on. I mean, Hong Kong, the combination of Hong Kong and Shenzhen is second to none. And that's why we see a lot of the IoT, Internet of Things, people coming here to setting up here the base, as well as in various innovation side. So we believe that with this technology park between Shenzhen and Hong Kong that we're going to be creating, that is going to really be a game changer for us and for the world. As Jayne mentioned about the innovation that we're seeing the reason why we see that this momentum is really picking up is that there's a lot of innovation coming over from this part of the world as well. We're really excited from the fact that we're seeing some number of innovation coming from Hong Kong, from the mainland, but also from the rest of Asia. And we believe that we are in a very sweet spot, being part of the one country two system, really looking at this combination and this technology park that is going to be created, which is going to be really a unique park in the world where you can bring ideas, test it, validate it, get the funding, get the research completed and done, and then get a small amount of samples, a small amount of orders, and then scale it in a very big and quick way. And this is really a type of ecosystem that you're talking about is really second to none. So we believe that we have the best of both worlds. We have the mainland Chinese as a huge market and Asia itself as a huge market. Within 5 hours flight, you can reach half of the world's population, 3.5 billion people. And we believe that not only can you have access to market, but also access to production, access to talent, and also access to funding. And so all these ingredients are very important for startups at different stages. And of course, Invest Hong Kong is here to welcome them with a red carpet.
We're living in an exciting time right now. I read an article the other day that said basically between the years 2016 and 2020, it is estimated 3 to 5 billion new people that are going to come online, and the majority of that's going to come from China and India, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we are sitting right smack dab in the middle of that innovation, that technology, and this cycle is going to be huge, right? So one of the challenges, even from when I first came here and I was looking around the ecosystem, is in Hong Kong, the fragmentation, the silos of the different pockets within the ecosystem. And InvestHK, StartmeupHK has done a phenomenal job of sort of leveling that playing field, just being a neutral ground for everyone to come together and work together to help just grow the community. So my question to you guys now is, you guys are sitting here with a gargantuan task. I mean, InvestHK supporting inbound business investments, obviously StartmeupHK trying to cultivate the startup ecosystem here. Out of all the verticals and all the things that you have on your plate for 2017, what are one or two of the top key focus areas that you want to see when we're sitting here next year ahead of 2018's StartmeupHK Festival? What can you say? This is what we accomplished in 2017. This was our directive, and here's what we brought to the table. This is what we checked off for 2017. What are your focus areas?
Well, for me, it's basically extending the kind of work we're already doing. So we are very, very busy, as you say, trying to link those different silos up, provide a platform for people to actually do that. So whether you're in the, whichever kind of sector you're in, or whether you're an investor wanting to reach out to the different types of startups and things, we have this platform to enable people to actually put on their own events. And what the fantastic thing is like these people are really doing it. So many people are taking time out of whatever really busy schedule that they're doing, and it's humbling to me. It never fails to amaze me. I speak to Charles about this all the time, that you've got some of these busiest people in Hong Kong, whether they are head of large corporates or startups frantically trying to get their business off the ground, or universities who are teaching and researching at the same time. They are all coming out either to attend these events or to volunteer for these events or to actually create events and become speakers and things, just so we can actually build this ecosystem here in Hong Kong and potentially set Hong Kong up as a place for entrepreneurship and innovation to thrive. And I feel like we just need to do more and more of that, and basically try to expand the circle we've got at the moment. It's like dropping a rock in a lake, You've got the ripples starting to happen. We want those ripples to really spread out more, but not just within Hong Kong. We're basically, going to make 2017 a year where we actually push that story out to a much more of an international audience as well, so they can see what a fantastic environment Hong Kong is for potentially the entrepreneurship and bringing their business here. Our ultimate goal at Invest Hong Kong at the end of the day is job growth. That's what we want to do. We want to bring the best companies in Hong Kong, to basically set base here, and with startups and their massive scalability potential, they can actually suddenly hire a lot of people very, very quickly compared to the more regular traditional kind of companies. So that's what we're hoping to do, bring some of those fantastic companies that we're seeing overseas to Hong Kong to actually potentially do that, but also to showcase the companies we've got homegrown, like Professor Low, like what all these fantastic people are doing. There's some great innovation happening. I just don't think like I said, we're very good at actually talking about and marketing that. So if we can support that and get that into a wider kind of profile, I think it would be a fantastic thing. The second thing, of course, is funding. Funding is a big deal. It's a big deal everywhere within startup hubs. But when we've got China on our doorstep, which arguably has been attracting a lot of VC funds and startup funds, and us being in Hong Kong, which is obviously a much smaller kind of entity, it's quite, you don't even try to compete. But I think funding is an area that we can potentially grow a lot more, especially since there is money here. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Jay, you're working in the financial services industry. Yeah. You're talking to family offices regularly, high net worth individuals. We just need to get some of that fund into tech startups. And that's what we're going to try and do. So you need to do it in two ways. On the one hand, you've got to basically make sure that you've got the deals worth investing in the first place. And that's going to take time. So it's not going to be something that we can resolve right away. But the other side of things is to potentially bring other funds from overseas to Hong Kong, and potentially maybe some of the family offices, the high net worth individuals might feel a bit more relaxed in basically putting some money into those kind of funds as opposed to doing it themselves, because it is a very, very different proposition to investing on your regular wealth kind of products or property or and it's a very different ball game. We appreciate that, and we do realize that it does take time to mature, but it's one of the ways to actually get more funding, of course, is through that. And of course, I know that within the Hong Kong government itself, we are looking at other ways that we can potentially, address some of the areas of where we see shortfalls, and we're looking forward to hearing what the policy addresses are going to produce, as well as the next budget speech as well.
Yeah, I think in regards to the funds, immediately in the next 6 months, there will be the $2 billion fund that the government has been talking about will be launched. The government co-investing with VC. A $2 billion fund, encouraging more VCs to come in and invest here. And I agree with Jayne that funding is very important. We have a lot of money here in this town. We have a lot of high net worth individuals, ultra net worth individuals. The challenge for us is that how do we get them to participate more, invest more into innovative startups? And we're extremely encouraged by when we go to meetings, when we go to gatherings, we see a lot of the next generation, the third generation, as we call, of family offices, folks getting involved, very much interested into looking at investing into innovative startups and business ventures. The other thing I think is very important is to really engage with the corporates. We have close to 8,000 corporations here. Close to more than half of them have their regional headquarters and regional office. And when we talk to corporates, they're all looking at corporate innovation, and corporate innovation is going to be very key. So when the corporates are very important, because we want our startups, when they're here, to have access to market. And one of the ways is to link up with the corporates. And of course, a lot of the corporations have their corporate funds that universities and corporate funds that actually would like to work with, so that they could participate in this whole ecosystem, because they're an important integral part of that. One of the other points I like to make is that, in addition to what Jayne said, was that the engagement with the various other ecosystems around the world, because there are a lot of accelerator, incubator programs, innovation labs that, having a presence here will really help them grow their own ecosystem. So this is something that we're very keen in doing, working with universities, identifying some of the best-in-class incubators, accelerators, innovation labs, and universities that would want to link up here so that they can have this soft landing, if you will, here, at the same time having the champion startups going to their particular jurisdiction as well. So I think, all in all, we are extremely excited about the journey that we have started. And I think 2017 is going to be also a very, very important one, as we see more and more verticals coming up. One of the things, Jay, which we're seeing very interestingly, is that we talk about all these verticals that we have sort of plumped up into 1 week. And the interesting thing is that we're starting already to see spin-offs. For example, fintech, we started last year, yes. Dedicated fintech team, where in November last year, we had our first fintech week. And we're working now on a second fintech week towards the fourth quarter of this year. And this is also very exciting. We're also seeing spin-offs, for example, in terms of Internet of Things. And I think that as we move forward, these clusters or these verticals are going to have their own lives. And this is something which is really exciting to us. And I think that when people ask us, so what's next? What do we see next? Well, there's a lot of people talking about different other verticals as well. And we're, in a way, we don't want to be top down and saying that, oh, we need to do this or that, but really rather than really working with the businesses and coming up from bottoms up rather than top down. And as Jayne was saying earlier, we're incredibly lucky and to having these very passionate startup champions in each of these verticals that are really willing to take the bull by the horn and just working with us very closely to making it happen. And we're very grateful for that.
Fantastic. It sounds like it's going to be a great week and it's going to be a great year. Thank you guys both so much for your time. Last question is, if I'm a business or a startup, perhaps looking to plant roots in Hong Kong, what's the best thing I should do? Where can I find you guys? How can I connect with and maybe get some support, some guidance?
Yeah, we are open to business, and we're completely wanting to welcome anybody of any size of the company, a one-person company or a mid-sized company or a large company. We are here to help. Our website, www.investhk.gov.hk or startmeup.hk. You can reach us, and we have an inquiry hotline, and we can talk to us anytime. We welcome people, and please do participate in this ecosystem. Be part of this exciting journey.
Yes, yes. And they're very, very good at getting in touch and getting back to you. I mean, they're two of the busiest people that I've ever met, and they're still very, very good at being very responsive. So that's it, folks. We are here all week. It's going to be a great week. Most of the events are happening at the PMQ, so run over and you can hop online, and StartmeupHK is where you can find all the information there. I believe the Venture Forum is at the Convention Center.
It is.
And there's a bunch of little ancillary events that are around the city. There's some pub crawls and some social events as well. But yeah, PMQ, and this is the Start Me Up Hong Kong 2017 Festival. And we're really excited. So thank you again, Charles. Thank you, Jayne, for your time. And for everything that you do for Hong Kong.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
All right. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. All the show notes and links can be found over at jkimshow.com. Come back often and make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. Don't forget to join us next week for another exciting episode of The Jay Kim Show. I'd love to hear your comments. You can find me on Twitter at jaykimmer, JAYKIMMER. See you guys next week. This podcast is brought to you by Hack Your Fitness, the high achiever's guide to getting ripped in under 3 hours a week. If you're anything like me, you're probably working a full-time job or jobs and trying to find time to balance family life, social life, and last but not least, fitness. Look, I get it. I'm a full-time investor and entrepreneur myself, and father of two. So how am I able to stay fit year-round without spending hours and hours in the gym killing myself on the cardio machine? After struggling for the last 15 years trying every workout and diet under the sun, I finally designed a system that allows me to achieve and maintain single-digit body fat for life in under 3 hours a week. Cardio not required. Head on over to hackyour.fitness and download my free 13-page guide that teaches you the simple science behind efficient fitness and smart nutrition and gives you everything you need to know to finally take control of your life. That's hackyour.fitness.